Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a wooden survival house with farms and an underground base. If you managed to see where I was hiding in this intro, let me know down below there in the comment section. The white concrete grid represents the amount of space required to make your build. Feel free to make this grid in your world if you do feel as though it will help you out. This is particularly useful if you are placing this in amongst other buildings. And here are all of the materials that we will need to make the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Begin by placing a row of 3 oak planks extending up from the back left hand corner of the grid. 1, 2, 3. Extend the plank to the left by 3. 1, 2, 3. Extend the planks forwards 1, and then left by 2. 1, 2. Extend forwards by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We then want to extend left and join back to where we first started. Connect the entire left side of the build down to the ground, like so. You can do the same on the back, like this. However, on the right side, it's a little bit different. We are going to place a glass block here, extending left of this plank, and then an oak plank, glass, plank, glass, plank, and place planks underneath the entire row. Then, on the front of the build, we want to place a glass block extending from the same center plank, and place oak planks all the way around it. We are then going to dig in the ground in between the 2 rows of oak and place a double door here. This is the entrance to the build. And whilst we're digging particular areas out, I want you to dig in front of the front right corner of the build here, a row of 7 extending forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then across and join to the opposite side of the house, like this. So we want to place a row of upwards facing oak logs inside this left row here with an oak plank right of the end log. We then want to fill the rest of the hole in using oak logs. We're then going to extend the oak plank in the ground backwards, and the last 2 rows we are going to extend and connect to the oak logs, leaving a nice untouched patch of grass. Place spruce fence, leaving a gap of 1 from the 2 front corners of the house. Leave a gap of 1 and place 1, 2 spruce fence extending up from the ground. Then place spruce slabs on top of the fence and join the slabs together in the middle. Place sideways facing spruce stairs, extending back and connecting to the house with forwards facing oak stairs in between them. What we now want to do is install a floor inside of the house. This is really easy. We are just going to dig out the entire grass area inside the house like this. Then fill it in using oak planks, like so. Then we're going to fill the second floor in, also using oak planks. This puts us in a good position to outfit the house later. Then we want to, on the front left corner of the second story of the house, place 2 oak planks and extend the planks backwards along the left side of the house, like this. We want to place a row of 2 glass right of the 2 ends of the row of 2 oak planks with a row of 3 directly to the right of them, like this. We then want to place oak planks on the side of the glass, and we want to take the back and extend it inwards by 1 row, and then we want to extend it across by 2 rows. However, we only want to extend the bottom 2 planks across like this. You can actually connect the oak planks at the top across so that it sweeps over this row. And we want to extend these single 2 oak planks here forwards an additional 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 like this. In this gap will be a door, so let's place a door because that kind of gives us an idea what space we are dealing with, and we want to fill the gap in here using oak planks, like so. Really simple. We are going to use what I will refer to as a placeholder block, so we're just going to use glass and we are going to place it along this balcony area. First, we're just going to place a lantern next to the door because that will allow us to remove the lantern, grab oak trapdoors from the inventory, and place oak trapdoors around the glass that we placed, flip them down, remove the glass, and there we have a balcony with a little bit of railing around. Then we're going to use spruce slabs. First, we'll place them along the top of the smaller bit of the house and extend them forwards and backwards off the back of the house and taper them upwards to connect to the larger part of the house. So we want to do this on the front and the back, like this. And in some places you'll have to add a double layer of the slabs, like this. Then, on this side of the house, it's a little bit different. We are going to add the spruce slabs, of course, hanging off the side, and we want to taper them upwards, as we did on the opposite side of the house, except with the spruce slabs, they'll kind of come to an end, but we want them to overhang the secondary roof, the smaller roof, by half a row like this. It might be a little bit easier to kind of just show you. We want to... Let's make the edges of the roof like so. There we go, that's perfect. This is the sort of effect that we're looking for. And you can choose to either place oak planks here, which looks a little bit weird because it's mixed in between the spruce slabs, or you can just use spruce planks. And I'll show you why it makes an ever so slight difference in a second. This is a spruce plank row here, and that's a spruce slab row. So the only reason it makes an ever so slight difference is that it looks better for this, in my opinion, to be oak planks, right? It makes it look as though that the roof is a little bit less gradual. It creates a nice little bit of contrast. So it does, in my opinion, look better to have oak planks like this from the outside, but it's also kind of weird just to have oak planks just for that particular row. A way to circumvent this would be to make the center of the roof oak planks like this. So that would work. But then also, like, it's kind of up to you. So there's a few different options on what you can do to change that. I might change the center of the larger part of the roof to oak planks, but that's a decision that we can definitely make later. The next part of the build that we want to work on is the underground portion, and that requires a little bit of digging. The hole that we have to dig is really simple. If you begin on the back right hand corner of the build and dig 7 rows out to the right, and then dig as far forward as the oak logs that we have placed in the ground, this is the area that must be dug out, and we have to dig down 5 rows in total. Now, once that hole has been dug, ladies and gentlemen, there are a couple of things that we can do to make our life easier for the next part. So all we have to do is dig out underneath the entire right side of the garden on the front of the house, dig down so there is as deep as the hole that we have dug, and also continue that row underneath the house on the back right side to create a straight line. Fill all of that in using oak logs faced upwards, as the right side of the garden is as well, and then fill the bottom of the hole that we have dug in using oak planks. Easy. With those things done, ladies and gentlemen, we can now move on to the next part. So, what I would like to do first of all is just remove this white concrete that I have in front of the house. And with that removed, I want to place some path in front of the house as well. So I can get rid of the grass for a second, and I'm just going to grab a wooden shovel. And I want to turn the area in front of the end of the garden here into grass path. And then I'm going to shovel 1, 2, 3 additional spaces, and then make the rest of the row poppies like this. So in front of the end 2 grass paths, I'm going to place oak stairs. And underneath these, I'm going to place oak planks, tapering downwards in such a way that I can place stairs in front of them, and this leads down into the hole that we've dug. I want to grab the oak grass block again, and in front of the second row of stairs that we've placed, we're going to place a grass block, and the grass block is going to extend forwards until it lines up with the lantern that we have on the side of the house here, so just before the actual house itself begins. And we're going to place oak trapdoors on the side of the grass for as long as we can. And underneath these, we are going to stack up. Well, it doesn't really matter. We could use more oak logs, or we could use oak planks. We might go. Let's go with oak planks because we already have oak logs. So now that we've done that, we want to build the outline for the part of the underground base that is actually like visible. There's like a glass dome above the actual base itself. So we are going to place a row of spruce slabs extending from the lower half of the oak logs that support the house, and we want to place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 along the back here, and then extend the 7th block forwards by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to extend this across to the left. This will join to the planter that we've just placed, and then we'll join it back on itself like this. Then we're going to place glass inside the top of this, and that is absolutely perfect. And what that then allows us to do is, actually, we want to remove a little bit of this planter. So this is really simple. We're just going to remove the end of this planter here, place an oak plank on top of it, extend the oak plank to the right like this so that it just sits in front of the oaks or the spruce slabs, join the oak planks down. We want to have a window. This is a 2x2 row of glass. Then on the end of this, we want to have oak planks and then a double spruce door leading directly from these stairs here. We're going to cut off this area here using spruce fence like this. And I'm starting to think actually that we should reduce this space a little bit. So the way that we can do this is we can build up oak plank walls here on the right side of the build, and we want the oak planks to, maybe we'll just have them sit down. No, we'll extend the oak planks an additional row upwards, and then we'll extend them across the back here to connect to the top set of oak stairs. Spruce fence on top of the oak planks like so, and it just creates like a more varied environment, and of course it stops us just like falling haphazardly into this hole. I also want to turn a small portion of this into farmland, probably this little square here, because I'm going to have, I just want to have a pig that kind of like lives in this hole, which doesn't sound like a great life, and it's not. So now that we've kind of got the infrastructure ready for the base, the last thing that I want to do before we start adding more detail is I want to dig out these 2 walls and replace them with vertical facing oak logs. With the structure of the house and underground base complete, we can now work our way into the actual house itself, and we can begin work on the interior. So here are all of the materials that we are going to start off using. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these if you want to build the house in the same way as me. We'll be grabbing some more stuff later. So, step 1, inside the house, we have to break into the second floor. So to do that, we're just going to dig in front of these back 2 oak planks here, and then we're going to dig a couple of rows forwards into the second floor. We want to have a staircase that leads from the left oak plank block here forwards, and we have to take out enough of the ceiling that we are able to climb up here. On the second story, we can take out some of the oak planks. You'll find out which ones you can and can't. That will allow us to make a hallway and access the balcony. The balcony is pretty much just decorative, and it serves as a nice little watch post throughout the world. Look at all of the dangers that we face. So, up here, it's up to you how you kind of want to make this. So, like, you could add a couple of oak planks here, and you could, if you wanted to, say, add a little bit of fence or something. Just so that, but we don't have to be able to climb this area, so you could add just a little bit of fence to the side to make it perhaps a little bit more homey. I also want to add a lantern and a flower pot to this here as well, and I suppose that we could install a plant, but we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but I just wanted to make that look a little bit more homey. Down here, we are going to seal up this wall, and then underneath here, we are going to add a lantern with a double chest, so double chest behind the stairs, lantern hanging down just like this. In the corner of this room, we want to have a couple of beds with a painting above the beds. And then in front of the beds, we are going to have a couple of barrels just pointed upwards like this. And then against this wall, crafting table, furnace, and we want to have a flower pot. And this is it. This is a nice basic downstairs. I did also contemplate this. I did think that it could be cool to have the entire floor be oak logs. So that's something that you might want to consider as well. And if you just replace around the blocks, say, that aren't the bed and underneath the crafting table and furnace in the chest, it actually gets to be like a nice contrast. So that's something that you might want to consider for yourselves. We're going to use poppies or any flower or sapling or whatever it is that you might like to fill in the flower pots. We don't really have to do too much than we already have. This is a nice simple house and it has the basics already, so we're going to move on from this point. So moving outside now, we want to do a bit of gardening. So this requires a hoe, some wheat seeds, beetroot seeds, carrots. We'll also need podzol, pig spawn eggs of all things, and that should actually do. So the little patch of grass in front of the house, we're going to hoe it out and replace it using beetroot seeds. This is a seedy place. To the side, we have a planter here, which I'm going to dig out and replace with wheat seeds. Inside the animal pen, I'm going to hoe this out and replace it with carrots. And I'm going to put Porky inside of the actual pen. He's our mascot. With all of that complete, ladies and gentlemen, we can head inside of the underground base and we can add some detail here. These are the materials that we are going to use throughout the underground portion of this base. Please feel free to grab all of these if you are building it in the same way as me. So first of all, as we enter the doorway here, I want to have a set of furnaces that extend all the way up to the ceiling. These are 2 rows wide. Next to this, a chest on the ground, and above it a spruce trapdoor that is able to be used as a shelf with a crafting table on top. Then, bookshelves extending all the way to the back of the build and extending 3 rows across. Just in case this isn't enough bookshelves, we are going to dig out the square in front of this and place an enchanting table in the center of the back of the shelves, lectern, book and quill, create shelving using spruce trapdoors, and we'll place an anvil on top of the shelf. This is also a good place that I'm now realizing for a lantern, because of course there's not really too much light down here otherwise. Now that we've placed the lantern, I'm going to contradict myself by grabbing the shroom light, armor stands, and we need a bunch of armor. So I'm going to be careful not to put this on. So in the corner, I'm going to dig out 2 and place a shroom light. Armor stand on top of the shroom light. Golden boots, glass block, and we are going to outfit the armor stands with armor, just like this. And we're going to place glass around the armor stand, so just as kind of like a cool display case. There we go, perfect. If you want to make this stand out, we could place oak logs underneath the glass, and it'll just stand out a little bit better. We could even you could even add an additional row on the back here for, say, like something a bit more interesting as well. Maybe like we could put a chest here or an ender chest, hide it behind, and place, say, like on the wall, an item frame, and put something cool in there, whatever your definition of cool might be. I really like the trident and the crossbow as kind of like cool decorative items, but that's just something that you can do, and it's still like locked in because of the glass connecting to the bookshelves. Anyway, what we then want to do, along this wall here, I want to place, and I've got to be so careful not to equip this. I might have just done it. No, perfect. So I want to grab the oak logs, barrels, spruce trapdoor, brewing stand, cauldron, item frames, and I'm also going to grab some red wool. And in the corner here, we're going to place 3 oak logs, although you can place as many as you like it. You can place it all the way up or leave a gap or one, whatever it is that you like. And I'm going to place a cauldron in the corner. Hello, Porky. And then we're going to place a couple of spruce trapdoors as shelves, brewing stands on top. In front of these are all going to be like labelled with item frames. Dug in the ground a bunch of barrels like this. And then in the middle of the floor, I want to have a rug like so. And there we go. That's kind of it. I mean, the only thing that you may want to do is place something in the item frames that makes sense. So, you know, whether that's gassed tears, fermented spider eyes, or blaze powder, it's completely up to you. But I think that looks really cool. If you did want to keep further like adding stuff, like we could have a bunch of different like barrels like built into the wall as storage and so on and so forth. Like, you can keep digging and expand the build if you like, but I'm pretty happy with where we're at. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please do remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. We wouldn't want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.